everyone, it's me, Randy. Welcome to YemmyCast, a video game podcast. Whee!
Hey, what's up everybody? It's me, Yemmy the Ferret here with another episode of YemmyCast, a video game podcast. This is episode 25. On today's episode, we got a few news topics to cover, including some Twitch news, more Mortal Kombat 11 news, and some Borderlands 3 news, as always, right? Alright, so the first topic of discussion today, before we get into the main event of this podcast, which is Cronocyde, coming to the podcast to talk about future JRPGs that are coming out. He has a lot of good things to say about it, and we have a nice little discussion, so stick around for that. But first, Twitch has sent out emails saying that you're not going to be able to upload videos to Twitch after April 10th. After that, you will have to be a Twitch affiliate to upload videos to Twitch. So they're saying that you can kind of get around this by using the highlight or the stream maker to make little cuts on your stream or the highlights on the stream. But other than that, you know, you're not going to be able to upload full-length videos. So while uploads are popular, they say, among large streamers and event pages on Twitch, we found that growing streamers are not benefiting from these tools in terms of viewership and progress towards affiliate status. Because, you know, in the end, Twitch isn't YouTube. You know, people don't go to Twitch to watch videos. You know, they don't go to Twitch really to watch archived live streams and stuff like that. They go to Twitch to see someone live right here, right now, whether they're dancing in scantily clad clothes on Just Dance or Dance Central, or they're playing a really hard game with only a Rock Band controller. There'll be people there. Anything from podcasts to gameplay for games that no one cares about, you can find it on Twitch, but not many people are searching specifically for video content. That's why there's a platform called YouTube. But anyways, this is an interesting change to things. I only got this email because I recently uploaded a video to Twitch. One of the clips, it was me talking about the movie Free Solo. So that's why they sent me it, and I wouldn't have even known about this unless they had done that. Alright, our Borderlands news for the episode. The new segment on the show where we talk about Borderlands 3 only. Once again, that is just a joke. If there's news, I talk about it. Alright, so the Borderlands 3 release date has been confirmed. Of course, they revealed it literally the day that I uploaded last week's episode. So when I said I didn't know the date last week, that's because I really didn't. This week, I do know, or this episode, I do know the release date, and that is the 13th of September. There are multiple different versions of the game you can get, including a base version, a digital deluxe version, a deluxe physical version, all the way to the piece de resistance, the diamond version of the game, where you get a giant case, you get a replica of Sanctuary, you get pre-order bonuses, you get 10 3-inch figures. All this stuff and more comes in that set, and you know what? I put down the money for it. I said, I want this, and whether the game is a hit or a miss,
I guess they never miss, huh?
I will enjoy the set, and so I did get my pre-order in for the giant collector's edition. I'm happy with my purchase. I know, you know, I look at these trailers and I see they look awesome, they look great, and that's why. That's why I'm going for this. I love the Borderlands series. I've never been disappointed in a game fully. Like, sure, pre-sequel was all right, but I still enjoyed the game enough to play through it multiple times now. The same thing with 1 and 2. I love those games to death. 1 and 2 are like equal on my top 10 list pretty much. So I'm ready for this. I'm excited, and it's coming out this year, the 13th of September. And what can we expect? What's new in Borderlands 3? Well, maybe not new, but there's split screen online co-op, and now you can officially toggle loot. So if you want loot to be available to everyone, you can turn that on, or if you want individual loot, you can turn that on as well, which I think is a great idea, because when I was playing through with friends on maybe Borderlands 2 or Borderlands 1, we share things pretty equally. You know, if one person likes using combat rifles, that person gets the combat rifles, and vice versa. But if you go online, a lot of people will just they'll bypass the enemies, let you fight them, and go directly for the loot chests, and they'll take the loot. And that was not very fun. But now this is a good way to kind of balance that, even if you are with friends. Sometimes friends can be dicks. Am I wrong? Other things that have happened with Borderlands 3, there's been a little bit of controversy around it going on the Epic Store instead of the Steam Store for the first 100 days, I think it said. I don't know why companies are doing this now. I just had another one that I said that it wouldn't, or I think last episode we said something was going out on the Epic Store first. I forget what it was. But this seems to be a new trend. I think the Epic Store is trying to gather more people, get more people to their site. I mean, I'm getting on PS4, so this doesn't really affect me, but for the people it does affect, it is kind of shitty. Alright, so next, Enter the Gungeon is having its final update, A Farewell to Arms. It launched Friday on all platforms, and what this does is it adds 2 new playable characters, who are the Gunslinger and the Paradox, and they, of course, have their own unique abilities and quirks. In addition, there are dozens of new weapons and items to discover, as well as a secret floor with a new boss to tackle. There's also a new rainbow mode in which players will find a rainbow chest at the start of each floor. The catch is that the items you take from these chests are the only ones you'll get during your run. So there's been bug fixes as well with this update, but for the most part, the content is there. It's huge. I really enjoyed playing this game on the PC. I think that this is one of the best bullet hell RPG, run and gun, whatever you want to call them type games. And I think this one really deserved to be a little bit higher on people's lists last year. It came out last year, I think. And I didn't put it on my list because I didn't play enough of it, but I've started playing more and more, and I feel like this game is really underrated in terms of just, how fun this game really is. I know that, it's a little bit challenging, it's a little bit difficult, just kind of like a Souls-like game. I hate using that, saying that, but it's true. But I think once you get the hang of it, you can really start taking people out. And once you get, which guns are the better guns and which guns are the guns you don't want to get, I think that people are going to have a lot more fun with this game. I really enjoyed this game, and I hope you guys do too. If you want to, it is available on all platforms. I think it's $15, and it has a few free updates now, but this is the last one, unfortunately. And finally, for the news part of this podcast, Mortal Kombat 11 has revealed the Collector, spelled with a K, and he is a proud servant of the Outworld Empire. So the trailer just shows off all of his unique moves and all the different combos that you can kind of do with him. They really, really like beating up on Baraka. I don't know why, but it seems like most of these reveals has Baraka being beat up, and I hate it because he's my favorite character. But the Collector, he has 4 arms, he's blue, Abadid Abadai, and he carries around this soul chamber. Obviously, he's the Collector, so I'm pretty sure during the storyline, he's going to be collecting people's souls, and maybe you'll have to, free people from the soul box. Maybe that's how some people come back. Maybe that's how some things in the story happens. But he looks like a cool character. He sounds like a cool character. He's kind of like a Gollum type character. But his description is, a proud servant of the Outworld Empire, the Collector cares only for his wealth and status and will kill anyone to keep it. Also, earlier this week, Cetrion, I think is how you pronounce it, one of the Elder Gods, is now going to be playable in Mortal Kombat 11. So this might mean something huge for the story as well. Maybe Raiden has become so powerful, the gods have to come down there themselves and try and take him out. Now, there are some similarities between the Avatar series and this character. She apparently controls fire, wind, water, and rocks. So maybe she's not as original as the developers might think she is, but I think she's kind of cool. But I like the Collector's look a little bit better. I like I like this guy. Hopefully he speaks my language when I'm playing against people online. We'll see though. We'll see. I have to try him out. I'm definitely going to be using Baraka first though in Mortal Kombat 11. If you want more Mortal Kombat news, 2 episodes ago was the Mortal Kombat episode featuring Nerd in the Bay. We talked all about Mortal Kombat, our experience with Mortal Kombat, and I also went over a bunch of news regarding Mortal Kombat as well. So if you want to, you can check that out. But right now, I'm going to shrink down. Ant-Man has beamed his ray at me, and I am shrinking now. And I'm going to be talking to the one and only Cronocyde, who is a streamer, Let's Player, Mario Maker extraordinaire. and a good friend of mine. He's going to be talking about the JRPGs to look forward to in the future, later this year and in the future. And we also talk about some other things as well. So make sure you stick around for that, because that is starting right about... All right, so joining me for a second time on the podcast. Last time he was on, he was talking about the Super Smash Bros. Tournament that happened on his channel. You know him. You maybe possibly love him, but that'd be kind of weird because he does have a girlfriend right now. It's Cronocyde. Welcome back.
You can love me. You can love me. It's all right. How are you, dude?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited about this, dude.
I am too. So since I am not educated in the world of JRPGs, I thought I'd have someone who is come on to the show and tell us what's the upcoming best JRPGs, and then also some honorable mentions that may already be out or are coming out that just don't make the list.
Yep. I'm more an old school JRPG. I didn't... Like the newer JRPGs, I'm not used to them. I know a lot about them, but I never played most of them because it's really time consuming. But I'm a huge fan of JRPGs. Yep, that's true.
What was your first JRPG? Do you remember?
Oh, it's probably Dragon Warrior on the Nintendo, the NES. I don't know why I had this cartridge when I was younger, but... Yep, and it's a really, due to the fact that I'm French Canadian, and I don't know, I didn't know a lot about English back then. Dragon Warrior is like, you talk to villagers and people in town, and they give you like obscure clues, and you're trying to figure out where to go, and it's a really hardcore game too. You need to level up. For 6 years old, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I finished the game when I was young, so I did play a lot of Dragon Warrior, and after that, it's Final Fantasy 3 and Chrono Trigger and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's probably because of the box art. The box art was probably enticing for a young Cronocyde.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, well, let's, where did you want to start? Did you want to start with the honorable mentions, you said?
Yep. We are in April already, so there's a lot of good JRPG that already came out. And probably the biggest RPGs already came out for this year. So Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, one of my favorite Tales of, in the Tales of series. For sure, I played this one on Xbox 360. For some reason, this game was exclusive to the Xbox.
Really?
I think it was when Xbox and Microsoft tried to bring JRPG's game to Japan, if I remember correctly, and didn't pan out for them for sure. Sony already was in Japan for JRPGs, but it's one of my favorite Tales of games. Really recommended.
Yeah.
Never played this one, right?
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of JRPGs on the Xbox 360. When I was playing the Xbox 360 religiously when I was in high school, I had the shooters and I had the RPGs, but I never had seen a JRPG on the Xbox 360.
Yep, they came out with a couple of titles. I remember Tales of Vesperia was the big one. There was a game called Blue Dragon by a Japanese team, which I don't remember who developed this game. There was Lost Odyssey too, which was a really freaking good game. But once again, it was on Xbox, and I remember seeing the numbers of sales in Japan. It was 1,000 or 2,000 of Xbox 360. So they really bombed in Japan. So they stopped producing JRPGs. But there's a couple of gems on Xbox 360. All right. So the next one, of course, is Kingdom Hearts 3. This one, you might be interested a little bit on this one because it's not turn-based, it's not traditional JRPG, and there's a lot of Disney worlds in there, like Pirates of the Caribbean, Frozen, Toy Story. So this one, I'm really interested in playing this one. Problem is, there's a lot of Kingdom Hearts game, man. So if you want to understand the story, I think there's a video at the beginning of the game to understand the story so far. But the game looks really sweet, dude.
I've heard a lot of good things and a lot of bad things about it.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those mixed bags where you kind of have to judge it yourself and see how it is yourself, because a lot of people have different opinions on it. I do like the Disney theme, but I feel like I feel like a lot of people have been saying that this one has way too much Kingdom Hearts and not enough Disney in it.
Oh, yeah, and there's no Final Fantasy in there, and the original Kingdom Hearts, if I remember correctly, once again, since I didn't play it, but yep, there was a lot of Final Fantasy in the original Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 with Sephiroth and Cloud, so I think they scrapped this because probably of licenses and stuff like that, but I think the core is intact. And yeah, the fans of Kingdom Hearts are really passionate, so there will be a lot of positive and negative for this game.
Yeah, I think that's just how it has to go for a Kingdom Hearts game. Everyone's waited so long for 3 to come out, and what do you know? It's got both sides of the spectrum of people talking about it.
Yep, a little bit like Final Fantasy, right? 15 was hated by a lot of people, 13 too. Because they were different, but if you just take out the name Final Fantasy, it's still pretty good games and huge games with good stories. So, yeah,
I messed around.
Fans are passionate.
I did mess around with 15. I had it for a little bit, and it just wasn't my kind of game.
Yeah, I understand. I can understand that. Next up is Fire Emblem Three Houses. I didn't pick up this one for the top 5. It's a huge game, but strategy game is not my thing. So personally, I'm not interested in any Fire Emblem games, but there's a lot of fans of Fire Emblem, so it's worth mentioning for sure.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy the last Fire Emblem as much as I enjoyed the Advanced Wars series. I feel like Nintendo really needs to bring the Advanced Wars series back, because that was amazing. I know there was I think it's called like Tiny Metal came out on Steam and on PlayStation that kind of mimics that. I have it on Steam. I just haven't played it yet, but I really want Advanced Wars back. I felt like that was a cutesy little game. You used the different color of characters, and you just kind of had it was a fun strategy game. I just couldn't get behind what's it called? I forget the Fire Emblem. I couldn't get behind Fire Emblem for some reason. Maybe it's just because there's no tanks in it.
Yeah, it's complicated for sure too. In terms of strategy and level up, it's really not my type of game, but it's worth mentioning once again because there's a lot of fans of this series.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a lot of people out there who love this series.
The next one is a little bit less known, I feel like. It's the Legion of Heroes, A Trail of Cold Steel. This is the collection that came out on PlayStation 4 and I think Switch too. I didn't take the note, but I think it's on Switch too, or at least announced for Switch. It's the first and the second game of the series in one beautiful package. And Trails of Cold Steel 3 is on the horizon too. It's really it's a turn-based game, but really the story is all about the characters, and there's a lot of dialogues. So it's a little bit slow. I played this one on the PSP. It's good, but be prepared to read a lot of text. But the story is really interesting too.
All right.
Switch is becoming one of the best console to play JRPGs with the releases of Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy IX. In April, there will be Final Fantasy X and X-2, and Final Fantasy XII too, and you can play all of them, and Dragon Quest Builders 2, which will come out on Switch too. So playing like gems like that on the go, portable mode is absolutely freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah, I know. There's, I think there has to be like 3, like maybe they're indie games, but I feel like there's like 3 turn-based games a week on the Nintendo eShop, mixed in with all the other crap that they put on it.
Yep, Octopath Traveler is probably one of the best ones last year.
Yeah.
Yep. I played the big, huge demo and absolutely loved it. I get a lot of Final Fantasy III vibes. and the music is beautiful. The gameplay, the battles, there's a lot of strategy. It's turn-based, but mixed in with a lot of cool options of combat. It's really great. It's a great game. I need to play this as soon as possible for sure.
Can we possibly see it come to Cronocyde channel?
Maybe live stream. Maybe that's like a 100 hours game.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I'll play it like on live
it's hard
streams,
to play those
but...
longer games. That's why I've kind of went away from them. Like, you're not going to see Assassin's Creed Origins or whatever on my channel because it's 180 hours just to get through everything that you could possibly want to get through. Like, I can't I can't cut that up into like 2 hour streams.
Yeah, and this is why I'm playing a lot of retro games too, because like the classic one like Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy 3 are a huge game, but not too. It was huge for their time, but in 20 or 30 hours, that's like 5 or 6 live streams. You basically finish them, so it's a cool. I have really cool memories of those games too, so it's a lot of nostalgia for me. So yeah, expect more of retro RPG games more than the newer one for sure.
Cool.
All right, so top 5. You ready?
I am so ready.
All right, so the first one is Shin Megami Tensei 5. So Shin Megami Tensei is a long running series. It started out with the original one was on computer, if I remember correctly. There's a lot of branching paths too. There's like Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, there's Digital Devil Saga, there's Devil Summoner, but it's all in the same Shin Megami Tensei series basically. And the newer one, the 4 and the 3, even Persona is part of the Shin Megami Tensei, by the way. You didn't know that,
really?
right?
Persona is?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. Originally, it was called Shin Megami Tensei Persona. Yep.
Well, fun fact.
Fun fact. Yep. It's part of the official Shin Megami Tensei series. There's like 30 games in the Shin Megami Tensei series, so there's a lot of games.
Very wide reaching.
The newer one was 4. It came out on 3DS, so I never played this one. But I played a lot of Nocturne on the PlayStation 2 and Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2. I still have my copies too. This is hard and hardcore dungeon crawling with one small mistake and you're losing like 1 hour and 2 hours of progress.
Oh man.
Yeah, this is really hardcore. I'm not sure if the newer one will be as hard as the old ones. Probably not, because it's a different era for sure. But it was one of the first game to be announced for the Nintendo Switch in 2017. But it was probably not even in production because we haven't heard of it until last year. The producer came out in the media to say they're still working on the game, but it's delayed. So I think and I hope to see more on probably the release of the game on this year in 2019. We'll see.
Yeah, well,
on the Switch.
We'll
That'll be amazing,
yeah.
dude. Next one. We talked about this, I think, in the Discord, if I remember correctly. Or I at least tweeted about it. Chrono Trigger director Takashi Tokita is producing the Switch JRPG. It's called Oni Naki. And this is the second game I picked because it's basically a dream team. So you have the scenario writer of Chrono Trigger, of Parasite Eve on board for Ononaki. And the developer of the game is Tokyo RPG Factory, which is the one that developed I Am Setsuna, which was groundbreaking because it's a traditional like turn-based RPG, but sold like 500 or 600 copies, which is in the West only. So that's a really groundbreaking like in terms of sales. And after that, the second game was less good, I would say. It's called Lost Sphere, which I saw a couple of YouTubers play this game. It seems a little bit more boring in terms of dialogues and stuff like that. But I Am Setsuna is really good. We don't know a lot about Oninaki yet. I saw the trailer. It's more like an action RPG, a little bit like Wise or even Grandia. So it's not turn-based as far as I can see. But I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, I think I covered that story in the YemmyCast a few episodes ago. I don't know.
Well, that's why.
That's
why. Yeah, Oninaki. So keep your eyes on this. It's coming out on the Switch. There's no release date probably for the PS4. But I think that the Switch is securing a lot of small developers like this to develop exclusively for their consoles. So that's a good move, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
For the hardcore like RPG fans that will buy a Switch only for games like this. So.
Hey, they can play on the go.
Excuse me, let's go.
They can play on the go.
Yep. And JRPGs are not like the most popular genre in like the shooters and stuff like that, but the fans are really dedicated to JRPGs, so we'll see. Next one on the list is Grandia 1 and 2 HD Remaster. So Grandia 1 was on PlayStation 1. It was a little bit a clone of, not a clone, but pretty close to a Zelda game. Grandia 2 was on the PlayStation 2, a little bit less loved than the original one. It's like I said, it's like an action RPG with I'm not sure what the collection will bring to. Is that like just an HD port of the original games? But it's so old, there's no way they can just do a port, right?
Right, they gotta do something to improve some aspects of the game. I mean, not everything needs to be upgraded, but you know, you're gonna want to upgrade some textures and probably some voice packs too.
Yeah, maybe that really depends on the budget, basically.
Yeah.
It's a couple of points. It's utilizing the PS1 and Sega Saturn source code, so I feel like it's more a port than a ground up remaster. And enhance details to UI sprites. So it's like a good way to re-experience the Grandia series. And fun fact, it's one of the most difficult game on the PlayStation 1. When I was doing the hardcore retro games, this one came out on pretty much every list.
Oh, really?
Of games, the hardest games on the PlayStation 1. Yep. Not sure why, but
harder than SSX snowboarding.
Is that a hard game?
No,
I don't.
I just pulled that out of my ass.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's probably harder than that for sure. Then. You ready for the next one?
Are we at number 2?
4.
Okay.
4.
I'm counting the wrong way.
Okay, that's all right. The next one is probably the one that you will be most excited about for the JRPGs. So Game Freak, which is the one, the developer behind the Pokemon games, announced a game title only. It's called Town, which is a pretty bad name for a game.
Yeah.
Only Town, right?
What is this,
and
Animal
it's their
Crossing?
Yeah, I'm not. Well, if you search Town in Google, there's probably there's no like good chances that you'll come out with Town the game, right?
Yeah.
So that's a pretty bad name for referencing and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess they know what they're doing. So
we like the thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure, dude. So Game Freak will be their first. Town will be their first IP, basically original IP. They always work on Pokemon games and a couple of like other games that I don't remember off the top of my head right now. But yeah, it seems once again like a turn-based RPG, which I'm really excited about. And Game Freak are really talented too. So yeah. I'm not sure if there's no official date. There's not a lot of details regarding the game. It's more a rumor than anything else. But since it's Game Freak, I needed to include this game in the list for sure.
Understandable.
And the last one, I talked about this series a little bit too. It's called Wise, YS, depending on what you want to call it. I'm not sure what is the official pronunciation of the series.
We'll go with Wise.
But Wise?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's Wise, actually. So Wise 9, Monstrum Nox will be, it was announced last year, at least rumored. They dropped their first trailer last week, which it's a traditional Wise game. It's an action RPG game. There's not a lot of liberty, but in the ninth installment of the Wise series, you can climb on the roofs. There's a grabbing system too. So it's more like a Zelda game. I feel like they're expanding a little bit the series beyond the traditional JRPG Wise games. Once again, this series was on DOS, I think. It's a really long running series, and I'm a huge fan of Wise. I played pretty much all of them, but 8. Even the one on the Vita.
Oh, wow.
I'm a huge fan, and I'm excited for this one.
Cool. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the list. I'm sure a lot of people will be helped by that in the JRPG community.
I was surprised that there's not a lot of JRPG this year. There was Code Vein too that people seems to be really excited about. But I don't know a lot about the game. It's more like an action RPG, like not Dark Souls, but a little bit like Dark Souls. So it's not traditional JRPG, so I didn't include it in the list. But Cold Vein, keep an eye on this one.
So you've been playing JRPG for a while now. What has been the best advancement that they've made in the series, and what has been your least favorite thing that they've changed about JRPGs, just in general?
Well, I'm like I always say, I'm super old school and I'm traditional RPGs, but I feel like they're doing a good job on going back to the roots of the JRPGs. What makes a good JRPGs? It's like the characters, the story, the gameplay is important in JRPGs, but turn-based is turn-based, right?
Yeah.
There's an attack button, magic button, item button, and escape button. There's not a lot you can do with that. So it's more about the story, the characters, the cliffhanger of the story, like the punch and stuff like that. So I feel like with games like I Am Setsuna and Octopath Traveler, they're going back to the roots, or I have nothing like super negative to say about JRPGs. I think we are in a good spot right now.
All right.
I'm like games like Dark Souls change a little bit like the traditional like JRPG genre, but once again they're going back to the roots, so there's a little bit for everyone basically.
All right, Chrono. Last thing for today. We have a running gag on the podcast. If you want to ask Mr. Predicto a yes or no question about JRPG, he will give you his prediction.
I have a good one.
All right, I'm ready.
Mr. Predicto, will Parasite Eve at least an HD?
Hold on. We could
You messed this up, dude.
I thought you were done there.
No, I'm not done.
All right, we'll restart with your question there.
Okay. Mr. Predicto, once again, do you think that Parasite Eve will come back in a HD remaster or ground up or Parasite Eve 3 in the future?
All right, let's see. Mr. Predicto, Parasite Eve, will it return?
The answer cannot be found at this moment.
Ooh, that's not
Fuck
good.
you, Mr. Predicto.
That's not good. Even
What kind of answer is that?
that means that the future is unclear. Oh,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
it does. It does. All right. Well, Cronocyde, where can people find you?
On YouTube, Cronocyde. You can basically go to Google and type Cronocyde. All my links will be there. I make sure that all my links will come out first on Google. But on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, I have a Facebook page now. I'm a YouTuber. I have no Twitch, so you can find me live on Mondays and Thursdays, and sometimes with Yemmy too.
That's right.
Yep. And the Discord server is a good place to interact with me and the community too. So join the Discord server. Yemmy will include the link in the description below.
I certainly will. All of your links will be down in the description below, including Discord.
All right.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up this episode of YemmyCast, a video game podcast. Once again, I am your host, Yemmy the Ferret, with Cronocyde. I think he's on this side. And Cronocyde. Thank you for joining me and sharing your wealth of knowledge about JRPG.
No problem, dude. Thanks for having me. Always a blast talking with you.
Alrighty, well, thanks everyone for listening. Whether you're on YouTube, you're on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you're at, thank you for listening. This is YemmyCast, a video game podcast.